Greetings, programs. My name is Wretch, and I'd like to welcome you back to the Outer Worlds. And this time, we're going to be jumping into the final story-based DLC for the game, The Murder on Eridanos. I think that's how it's pronounced. But I've really been looking forward to this. At the end of last year, we played Peril on Gorgon, and it was really great to jump back into the Halcyon system and see the crew of the Unreliable again after finishing the base game. And looks like this is going to be the start of their final journey. So let's go ahead and get going here and see what we have to do. Against all odds, the Unreliable takes flight. I've missed that load screen. Now, I am still playing this on a PS4. Poor Wretch does not have a PS5 yet. But that's okay, because then it'll still look the same as the previous DLC. This is a game you're considering for your PS4, so you're trying to remember it. It's kind of like Firefly meets Fallout. I recommend it. I also need to remember how to do everything in a bit. Rich got to spend that stimmy on a PS5. Well, I have to pay taxes with said stimming, and then also I've got to supplement my trip to Florida here soon. The good Fallout's not the recent one. Shots fired. Where am I? Aha!
Impeccable timing, Captain. I was about to watch the latest episode in Halcyon Helen's thrilling serial adventure.
Okay, Ada.
Welcome back, Captain. How can I be of assistance?
You mentioned an eighth wave drama. I'd like to see it.
Certainly, Captain. I was hoping you would ask.
It was the law-forsaken parasites. I had become obsessed. My quest to stop them. To avenge my partner, Philip. And my ex-partner, Bernice. And Lieutenant Jurgen. And those two informants had brought me to Rizzo's distillery. But it wasn't just the triple distilled deliciousness of Rizzo's Spectrum brand vodka that I found there. It was death. I made sure the Brain Eaters paid the price. But at what cost to me? It's you.
This is the Halcyon News Network with breaking news. Halcyon Helen has been murdered.
Rip.
Administrator Ludovico of Rizzo's refused to answer the big question on everyone's mind. Who will Spectrum Vodka's next spokesperson be? Claiming that a special investigation must be concluded first.
Captain, we have a communication coming in from one Administrator Ludovico.
Get off the transmission, Cedric. We agreed to let me do the negotiating. Law be with you, friend. I am Administrator Ludovico of the famed Eridanos Atmospheric Complex. But there's no need to stand on formality. You may address me as Mr.
So let me guess, this is about Halcyon Helen's murder?
Her death is the tragedy of our lifetime. As the face of our new product line, her murder is a stain on the Rizzo's brand. She was scheduled to unveil our newest product, Spectrum Brown, before this tragic event. But we cannot move forward with our unveiling until we apprehend the killer.
And your first thought was to come to me.
All right, Ludovico, that's enough. You don't know what you're doing. Let me handle this. Captain Hawthorne, Sublight's favorite freelancer. I'm such an admirer of your work. Cedric Kincannon, Sublight Underground. I'm so glad we're hiring a third-party investigator. No one wants to see a troop of UDL guards stomping all over my hotel, least of all me. The murder of Halcyon Helen is a heinous assault on this colony. I look forward to watching you find the miscreant responsible and drag them out of the shadows.
You know, I've never really heard of Sublight Underground before.
Don't worry. You and I are going to become very close acquaintances. I run the Grand Colonial Hotel and Perea Spaceport. Ludovico and I are business partners, in a manner of speaking. Eridanos is our shared responsibility.
Eridanos is not our shared responsibility. Eridanos is my responsibility, to which you and your organization have latched on like a parasite.
Ludovico, you wound me. I'm establishing rapport with our new contractor. Let's not give him the impression that you can't be trusted.
Too late.
Do you really want to do this right now, Cedric? You want to antagonize me while I'm negotiating a contract. Because I promise you, I'll win.
Gentlemen, please. As far as I'm concerned, you're both idiots.
First sensible thing I've heard all day. My apologies, Mr. Ludovico. That was unprofessional of me. Captain, I'm Constable Maria Keene. Hiring a third-party investigator was my idea. I've been studying your dossier. You're reliable and competent. You've been taking care of yourself ever since you arrived on Halcyon. And you're entirely independent. As far as I'm concerned, you're the ideal inspector for this case.
Inspector Wretch. I do like the sound of that a bit.
I'm pleased to hear that. The future of our complex may depend on your success. I'll leave you in the constable's care. Mr. Kincannon and I must have a word.
Fine. Bud Rizzo's is paying for that hotel room.
I can't tell you how grateful I am for your help. And even though they may not show their gratitude, I know Administrator Ludovico and Mr. Kincannon appreciate your involvement. Mr. Kincannon could lose his spaceport if board authorities took over the investigation, and if Rizzo's is forced to cancel its unveiling, we might never recover.
You know, Helen must have been pretty popular if her death could put an end to your operations.
Helen was more than popular. She gave something to this colony that no product line could ever provide. Real happiness. No one has ever been as well known or as well loved, outside of our courageous business leaders.
You sound a bit worn out, Constable.
Me? Worn out? Perish the notion. My days are filled with catering to the oh-so-reasonable requests of Mr. Ludovico and Mr. Kincannon. What's not to like?
I.e., help me! Well, they seem like jackasses.
Your words, not mine. Please don't take my lack of disagreement as anything other than fatigue. I am a content, productive, and happy member of our society.
Well, those two certainly seem to have some issues.
The administrator oversees Rizzo's operations. Cedric runs the hotel and the spaceport. They're always at each other's throats. My life would be so much easier if they'd simply learn to work together.
Well, I'd relax. Nothing I can't handle.
I'm pleased to hear that. From everything I've heard, you're a competent freelancer. And at the risk of sounding impertinent, we desperately need the help of someone competent. Thank you for your time, Captain. Whenever you're ready, I've authorized the Unreliable to land at the Grand Colonial.
Well, all right. I got everything I need.
Transmission terminated. Captain, We are now cleared to land at the Eridanos atmospheric complex.
Mysteries afoot. I don't really know why they're trusting me to catch Halcyon Helen's killer, Ada.
There are several reasons why someone would hire your services. In descending order of likelihood, they are as follows.
Oh no.
Desperation, confusion, mistaken identity, inebriation, and genuine faith in your abilities.
Alright. And what can you tell me about Eridanos?
Eridanos is a hydrogen-helium gas giant, distinguished by a well-defined ring system. The Eridanos atmospheric complex is a system of land masses propelled through a thin layer of the upper atmosphere, where humans are potentially capable of surviving.
Thanks, Ada. Oh yeah, we are gonna break Parvati's heart with this news. Holy crap, I didn't even think about that.
Something busted, Captain?
Oh. Alright, no new... I don't think we're gonna have any new dialogue. But I know what we need to do. Where are you? Best boy! Yeah. No new messages. Where is everybody? Oh.
Something on your mind?
Alright, let's just go ahead and head that way. Doesn't look like any new dialogue options have opened up for us, which is a shame, but at least we got to pet Best Boy.
We're now docked at Eridanos' luxury landing pad.
Are we? Looks like we're just out in deep space. Now, did we actually get the Halcyon Helen poster? That'd probably be in Felix's room, I would imagine. Yep, there she is. With Ruth Bellamy. Now, is that actually, is Ruth the one who died? Or was it another actress? She died before she could sign it. So let's go with, yeah, let's go ahead and start out with Felix and Parvati. Why not? The Brain Eaters look like the monster from this island Earth. From Odeon Pictures, who we had that lovely experience with in the base game. So are the Brain Eaters just like killers in costumes, or are they actually aliens, or? I am. I got no shame in it. Not only because of the original This Island Earth, but the fact that they showed it in the Mystery Science Theater 3000 movie. Normal view. Normal view. Ooh. Oh, it's like Cloud City, but horrible. Interesting. If Bespin is Las Vegas, this place is Atlantic City. Yeah. That's probably incredibly accurate. Definitely has a different lighting scheme than Gorgon did. Now comes the part where we get overburdened and sell off all of our stuff for a nice tidy profit. As per normal. And Adrenos. Hopefully they're not Gorgon-styled Adrenos. Otherwise this will be a quick playthrough.
Oh, Captain, it's beautiful up here. Could we get more jobs like this one?
No.
Hello there. Hope your atmospheric entry wasn't too troublesome. As a guest of honor, you deserve the best in comfort. Sublight Salvage and Shipping Underground, or Slug, as we like to call ourselves, is delighted to welcome you to Eridanos. I'm the Grand Colonial Head Bellhop. I'm here to grab your bags and direct you, the Inspector, to the Grand Ballroom, which was the scene of the crime.
Can you fill me in on the details of the murder there, Bellhop?
I can try. I was the one who found Helen's body in the Grand Ballroom. Corpse wasn't in the best shape. Aside from that, I don't know a whole lot. Helen was supposed to host the unveiling for Rizzo's newest product, Spectrum Brown. Until you catch the killer, the unveiling's been indefinitely postponed. Helen's death has been a shock for many. A lot of people are inconsolable. Hell, even Black Hole Birdie, Helen's beau, has wandered off. Some folks think he had something to do with the murder, but I don't believe it.
Hey, Black Hole Birdie may be a savage brute on the field of honor, but he's no killer.
I still don't understand why anyone would have it in for Ms. Helen.
Folks get heated when it comes to serials and their actors, I suppose.
Hence who I'm running with right now. Was she a decisive figure?
Not particularly, but I think some folks were jealous of her success, or otherwise viewed her as a threat. Reckon how she came about her fame didn't help.
And how exactly did she get so famous?
Why, she was a natural. People fell in love with her. She managed to wrangle up a following all on her own. She ended up about as famous and high-runged as your average VP, which rubbed a lot of Byzantines the wrong way. Actors ain't supposed to get preferential treatment. Let's see here. Oh, I already spoke briefly about the Spectrum unveiling, or lack thereof. It's still an awful shame. A lot of folks looking forward to that.
I hear the drink had a hint of brown note. I thought you worked for Slug, not Rizzo's.
I do. Rizzo's happened to rent out the Grand Colonial Ballroom from Slug for the unveiling. A nice mutually beneficial event. But the murder's gone and ruined that. Along with 9 out of 10 of my favorite cereals. Anyway, I think I've held you up long enough. Once you're ready, head down to the lobby. The ballroom is just behind the elevators. Meanwhile, I'll grab your bags.
Bags? What bags?
You're making fun, right? Your luggage, your belongings, kit, wherever you keep what you ain't wearing. You're still giving me a pretty blank look. Suppose it's none of my business, but do you just wear the same set of clothes all the time?
Of course I do. Are you telling me you don't?
Well, reckon I can respect your candor, even if it scares me a smidge. Anyhow, I'll look for you in the Grand Ballroom later. Hope you can unravel this mystery, Inspector.
Alright. And the first thing we do is go rummage around and steal things. So say we all. Because that is all XP. Swindle Gear would be proud. Yeah. That's the goal, always. What would Swindle do?
I think I must have had something in my ear. I could have sworn you just said we aren't allowed to depart.
Apologies, sir, but the atmospheric complex is on complete lockdown. No one's allowed in or out until the murder investigation's concluded.
Do you have any idea who I am? I could bury you under 6 tons of paperwork before you had the time to cry out for your supervisor.
I'm sure you could, but we fed our last box of grievance forms into the incinerator a few months ago. Is there anything I can do for you in the meantime?
I cannot believe this.
I am so inconvenienced.
We don't toss troublemakers out of airlocks. We just throw them over the edge.
It's fair. Ooh. Get prepared for the road ahead. Because this actually is going to have tougher enemies than Peril on Gorgon, I believe. Looks like I can jump up there. Luxury landing pad. I guess we should go ahead and... Oh yeah, I forgot what I'm wearing. Good times. There we go. Just a second to load. Felix is looking good. Parvati's looking good. Purple berry liqueur. Maybe we'll get a detective outfit. Oh, that'd be amazing. Oh, hi.
Greetings, Inspector. No need to check in here. Your paperwork has all been processed. You should be able to find the Colonial right ahead. Are you enjoying the amenities?
If you're meaning the things I can steal, absolutely. Necklace, cigarettes. They're the ones leaving their stuff out. Okay, and this leads us right back. I have a feeling we're going to be traversing this place quite a bit, because we did have to do some backtracking onto other planets during Peril of Gorgon.
I feel like I'm spending a fortune just standing here.
Yeah, we got Parkland. Really makes me wonder if something horrible is going to happen.
Rizzo's Lemon Slap. Slap your whole family tonight.
You heard the robot. No one saw me. Okay, we got the Piraeus Spaceport. Slug Bruisers. Yeah, something... I don't know. This may not be a heavy combat. Well, no, it is the Outer Worlds. It's going to turn into heavy combat if we want it to. That's still sealed up. Oh, holy crap, we're already burdened? Are you having a laugh? Thief's note. Sullivan, we got a new mock today for the bellhops. Green ship, Crady's in the back wall. Jewelry box should be there. Just take the whole thing. These folks are so rich, they probably won't even notice it went missing. The fence in the warehouse should be buying. Make sure to keep the bellhop's cup before you go spending. Well, cool. Now we need to go find a vending machine, like ASAP. Otherwise, we're just gonna do a nice casual walk. If I kill everyone on the planet, then that'll definitely include the murderer. Suit up, team! That's some Warhammer investigation right there. A Cardassian Enigma tale. Oh. Okay, well, something's still keeping us out of here. I'm wondering if we can get the old Spacer's Choice. I was about to say Taster's Choice. Oh, the Grand Colon. Gotcha. Yeah. Accurate.
You know, I never imagined Spencer Woolrich would outlive Halcyon Helen.
Okay, a lot of people are upset about it.
It really is a terrible shame. I absolutely adored her serials.
I almost can't imagine someone wretched enough to do such a thing. You don't think a dissident could be here, do you?
Get a hold
a
of
dissident.
yourself. The administrator would never allow someone as dangerous as a dissident here. Eridanos is safe. This is all just a terrible coincidence.
Of course, you are absolutely right. I think the idea of a psychopath wandering among us is just making me nervous.
Don't mind me. So everything's very out in the open. Lots of civilians around. Oh, transition. Okay. If it's brown, drink it down. You did. You called it. Nice xylophone elevator music there. Give me all your internet points. A genius.
You know, for a monument to the wealth of the elite built on the back...
What? Finish your thought.
I demand a room upgrade. You know, I never imagined Spencer Woolrich would outlive
Concierge Halston.
I'll bet you 10 bits this is all just some sort of publicity stunt.
With Halcyon Helen gone, does that mean Spencer Woolrich will get all her roles?
I certainly hope not. That man doesn't even act as well as I do.
You're a bit crap. Good lord. Okay. Can we go through all these doors? Holy crap. Okay. Interesting. It's going to be a Scooby-Doo ending. Transition to Eridanos, okay. So those are exits. There's a computer in here that we can check. You guys are the worst. Glacial water. Welcome to the Grand Colonial Concierge Terminal. Please do not store any insufficiently encrypted gossip on the Grand Colonial Concierge Terminal. Guest complaints. To concierge from Annoyed. Subject, this infernal racket. Do you like torturing me? Is that what this is? When I first learned I'd be beneath the floor occupied by the Rizzo's Rangers, I was excited as any tossball-loving Halcyonite would be. What I did not anticipate is the degree to which these hullheads seem to enjoy prancing to and fro, pounding on their floor with my ceiling every hour of the architect-cursed day. Did they install a tossball fifth court upstairs while I wasn't looking, or is this normal? And worst of all, it sounds like one of them has decided to start imitating a woolly cow. I'll give them that it's a convincing facsimile, but it has no place in a hotel, and each bleat is so loud it shakes the glasses on my face. I demand a room change yesterday. For each additional hour after midnight today that I am not pre-homed, I expect at least one employee to be fired. To whatever member of the help it may concern, I've heard a terrible clanking passing my room every night for the past 6 nights. Yesterday, I mustered up all of my courage and sent a servant to look, and upon her return, she said seeing what looks like an armed mechanical wander by my room for the past 6 nights. She said it was something called a Burbage 3001, and that it was a serial star. If this machine is a serial star, I must ask, why are you filming outside our rooms without paying us? We're not consenting to have our temporary property filmed. This is no doubt a contract for this, and if the machine is being allowed to wander without being filmed, then I want to be paid double. Do you have any idea how dangerous that thing could be? It could tread on my foot and ruin my aspirations to be a professional dancer, if I ever decide to have those aspirations. I urgently await a response. Oh, it was Ruth. Ruth Bellamy, aka Halcyon Helen. Spencer Woolrich, Black Hole Bertie Holcomb. Despite her celebrity status, the greater part of Halcyon Helen's requests have been fairly normal. Soap, shampoo, new towels, and so on. The one exception is her unusual consumption of food and drink. I'm not one to judge about that sort of thing. Law knows I've seen stranger proclivities from other guests. But she really does request a lot, and frequently. Listen to this. For lunch today, she ordered 6 Borscht and bean sandwiches, 2 purpleberry shakes, 2 purpleberry liqueurs, several retro rockets, and cigarettes enough to crush a teacup candid. I wonder if she's planning a party, but the cleaning staff say that every time they've gone up, there's been no sign of what she's ordered. If Helen really does keep managing to get through all of what she's been ordering, then maybe she should consider quitting show business and entering the competitive consumption scene instead. In the past 2 weeks, I've received 315 different service requests from Mr. Woolrich. These requests include, but are not limited to, his entire wardrobe from Terror on Monarch, 413 different outfits, including a primal suit, 5 gallons of each color of Spectrum, including black, wants 50 gallons of black, teacup canids of various breeds, a plasma launcher, and consisting of over 60% of all total requests, an upgraded room. Administrator Ludovico authorized him to move into the second largest room just to shut him the hell up, but Halcyon Helen got the biggest one, and of course Woolrich can't accept that he's been eclipsed. Got another room upgrade request as I was typing this. I'm more than half of mine to send an exterminator to fumigate his room just so we can request anything else for a while. And he might come down here and try and talk to me. And I think I'd quite honestly rather be dead. Halcom's requests have been about what you expect from a professional skullcracker. Tossball sticks, new clothes because he keeps, and I quote, accidentally tearing the shirts that are too small for my giant muscles. Funny how the rips I've seen look more like they've been made by hand. I noticed that he's asked for very little in the way of effort accelerators or enhancers. No skin tough, no oxycomp, not even any dervish mist. Typically, tossball players go through that filth like no one else. Maybe Holcomb's trying to prove something to Helen. Whatever it is, I don't think it's gonna work. Lots of lore there about our victim and potential suspects. I don't know if I need to go back there right now.
We should try to solve the puzzle hedges in the orchards. The prize is supposed to be something.
Oh, come on. Why is the lounge closed? I wanted brunch.
Refreshments. Hallelujah. Wait. Hold on. Night, Daka. Haven't heard that in a long time. Okay, we're good. Alright, time to sell all the things. Yeah, this is all the stuff from Gorgon. We actually didn't sell any of this. Oh! Oh, I just sold something. Did I? Hold up. No, I didn't. Holy crap. Alright. I think we're good. Alright. Armors. We got a prototype hibernation suit, which was pretty good. Like, most of this stuff is actually, like, pretty significantly, like, buffed up. Hey, Atsoje. I'm gonna go ahead and sell that as well. Okay. And what was it? We were selling everything sky high. We're even selling Verity stuff. We're keeping the booze, of course. That's important. And sell all the junk. But Kath, I am wearing a top hat. I fit in perfectly with this lot.
I did not.
Alright, we are going to get to the murder side, I promise, but... Join us for the Profit of Profitability seminar. Oh, Swindlegear's here. A flyer promoting a productotherapy seminar with renowned Prophet of Profitability, Jasmine Leva, at her retreat in the Wilderness Exploitation Reserve. Under her patented system, purge your body of nefarious humor, stopping you from unlocking your true productive potential. Actually a fairly decent bathroom from what we've seen. Anorak, thank you very much for that sub at tier 1. Your 17th month. Thank you for supporting the channel and supporting the kids. How are you doing, boss? Just running around a hotel, snatching up liquor. So it's kind of like real life. Well, hotel guests. Just changing gears, Ed Soj. I'm going to be playing Hades on Saturdays.
I'm pretty happy working for Slug. Mr. Kincannon treats us with respect.
Murder or no murder, it is my right to loiter on a bar stool. How else should I be expected to avoid my wife?
You're fast.
Whoa.
I was going to wash my hands, I swear.
A likely story.
Bertie Holcomb is likely beside himself in grief.
And we're the sanitation patrol. Are you washing your hands?
Hello?
All right, that's pretty much everything here. Oop, missed a bottle of booze. Should I buy Fallen Order? Honest thoughts? The answer to that question is yes, you should. It's a great game. Wait, I can talk to him.
I'm sorry, sir.
Her.
But while the hotel is an active crime scene, I regret to inform you that all new bookings, room upgrades, room downgrades, and in-room massages are Oh, you're the special inspector. Mr. Kincannon warned me you'd be checking in soon.
Right. You happen to have my room key?
Yes! No. I don't yet, but I will, Inspector, sir. You'll be staying in our luxurious penthouse suite, vacated just recently. So recently that, unfortunately, the room's still being cleaned. I'm sure it'll be ready for you by the time you've examined the crime scene. I believe Constable Keene should be waiting for you in the grand ballroom.
I didn't see the grand ballroom on my way in.
Oh, the ballroom's right behind the tower elevators. Swing a left or a right, then cut through the crowd of spectators. You can't miss it.
Interesting. Can we go in here without having people scream? The head of Burbage 2000, torn from its body in the penultimate act of Titus Androidicus. Why, foolish Burbage, dost thou not perceive that Halcyon is but a wilderness of dissidents, and it is only through our citizens' vigilance that they will be caught? Report any and all suspicious behavior to your local constable. Well then. Steal Rizzo's Ranger Tosser uniform.
Okay, keep him quiet.
Where'd they go? Oh, hi. You guys are covering me. Yeah, Felix, you're getting a new outfit. Let's see what this thing does. .28 light dodge, movement penalty to accuracy, weapon AoE radius. This light armor allows you freedom of movement, but won't protect you from vascular sprains. Good luck. Yeah, but I have to, Felix. This is your time to shine. What are you wearing anyway? The Save Crackers jacket? It's what you've always wanted. What are you rocking out weapon-wise? And your tossball stick. Alright. It's a good day for you. Acquire penthouse key. Room is not yet ready. Okay. She was telling the truth. Dissident Queen Chapter 2. Halcyon Helen encounters the Slugmen. Having fought their way past numerous bandit ambushes and hostile automechanicals, Halcyon Helen and Olympus Opal have found themselves at the gates of the dissident hideout. Alright, you're a fine partner, easily better than my last, said Helen, but I dare say these fiends outrank your typical anti-establishment scum. Some of them were scientists before they deserted their corporations, whereupon they stole technology for their own nefarious purposes. I've seen their abominations, and they're more than a typical person can handle. You should return to your job and to the place where you're needed. Though I know my work was valuable, Opal said, I'm still pleased that I was promoted to assist in your quest to rid the galaxy of those who would threaten the colony's productivity. Two of us together will, I believe, be twice as effective in eliminating the enemies of the board. Helen did not respond, but instead bid her companion be silent, for she had seen that the gates to the dissident hideout were no longer shut. Someone, or something, had opened them. Oh, I was thinking we were going to have to grab these, like, we had to do for that one quest for, like, that secret society thing. Oh well. Well, let's go. Oh.
Black Hole Bertie's disappeared, you know. The poor fellow must be inconsolable.
Hi.
I could never work for Slug. They're not recognized by the board.
Oh, thank the law. Inspector, you don't know how relieved I am to see you.
Constable King, nice to meet you. We spoke over the Aether Wave.
Constable Maria Keene. It's good to meet you in person, Inspector.
Dr. Goodnight. Ecstatic to make your various acquaintances and so on. Are we finished with the pleasantries? There's something I'm excited to show you.
And I'm guessing you're talking about the body?
What body? Oh, that. Goodness, no. This is far more interesting than Halcyon Helen's rapidly cooling corpse.
Our coroner has developed a device which may prove useful in your investigation. Our office has instructed her to hand it over to you.
Our office has instructed her to hand it over to you. Oh, please. You make it sound as if I'm turning over stolen goods. Behold, my discrepancy amplifier. Hold it in your hands. Feel the way it hums with ontological potential.
And what does this thing do exactly?
I'm so glad you asked. Allow me to explain. The discrepancy amplifier uses a deterministic model of our universe to detect the discrepancy between what should be and what actually is. Then it renders any discrepancies visible by using the power of magnification.
So it's a magnifying glass.
Yes, it's a magnifying glass, but an extraordinarily powerful one. It looks through the glass of reality itself.
I'm contractually prohibited from endorsing off-brand technology, but I'll bend that rule just this once. You'll want to peer into the amplifier and examine the crime scene.
The discrepancy amplifier. Greetings, Inspector. Thanks to the half-genius, half-mad scientific mind of Dr. Goodnight, you've been granted the discrepancy amplifier and the investigation device for uncovering clues throughout Eridanos. Be sure to equip the amplifier in a weapon slot before you continue your hunt for Helen's killer. Okie dokie. So what do I want to get rid of? 584. Light with knockback. Let's get rid of Lucky. No! Okay, great. That's not what I wanted. Options. I do want to equip, but I want to equip... There we go. Aha!
You're, really digging around Helen's body for clues, huh?
Problem? Broken bottle. She can't take it with her. Alrighty.
Watch it!
What was it? I'm sorry, I was so focused on trying to get it, How do we actually scan for clues? Or do we have... Wait. No, that's just the crime scene. Was there a particular way we had to go about this? Oh, okay, there we go. Right-clicky. It is detective mode.
The discrepancy amplifier is now operational. Greetings, designated inspector and/or unauthorized larcenist. This unit has detected a discrepancy related to Halcyon Helen. Unscheduled expiration of. Begin amplification.
I see you've been designed with a modular analytical system. What else can you do?
The discrepancy amplifier has been programmed with advanced speech recognition, scientific analysis, and deterministic calculus protocols.
Oh, you'll love this. Amplifier, tell the inspector about your features.
Please do not interrupt the discrepancy amplifier. The discrepancy amplifier is programmed to take instruction from its registered or designated inspector.
How curious. I must have set its impertinence levels to flagrant.
This unit's features include an automated personality simulator. This unit has been programmed to simulate joy and satisfaction in assisting you.
Let's go ahead and get started then. Tell me about this discrepancy you found.
This footprint stands out from the normally spotless floor of the grand ballroom. Typically, the ballroom is cleaned twice daily, which means this must have been made by either Helen or her assailant or assailants.
So, discrepancy amplifier, do the size of these footprints match anything you have on record?
Footprint is a tailor-made 8.75, suggesting that its owner was very particular about their shoe size. It is also the exact size that Halcyon Helen typically prefers. There are traces of dirt throughout the footprint.
I'm seeing some purpleberry in this dirt. Amplifier, analysis.
Excellent observation, Inspector. The following compounds have been detected. Purpleberry residue, nitrogen-rich fertilizer, common grass. Grass, fertilizer, and purpleberries can all be found in the purpleberry orchards, located not far from the Grand Colonio.
So Helen must have been at the orchards before she died. Good work, Amplifier.
Can we give him a name? I'm gonna call him Arthur. He seems like an Arthur. All buttoned up, but polite and kind of sweet.
This unit has been programmed to simulate gratitude. Thank you, Inspector.
Good work, Inspector. I had a feeling we'd make some progress once we brought you onto the case. You'll need Administrator Ludovico to grant you access to the orchards. Contact him through the secure access terminal in your penthouse suite. Check in with the concierge. Your room should be ready by now. If it isn't, I may have to go shake someone by the collar.
Oh, woot! Alright, so does this thing have, like, weapons? Or, okay, it just says 25 DPS. So we didn't, like, blow up the corpse, we just singed it a little. With, Arthur. His name is Arthur. Character, what are we doing? Movement speed, armor rating, and 100% skill bonus. I mean, we are still very much 10 dialogue skills when you have no companions in your party. Significantly reduce the weight of consumables. Yes, please. I am a fan. And in terms of skills, we are just mighty. So mighty. I guess we can go ahead and throw some more into dialogues. I could be even gunnier. Let's rock out... Man. Let's throw some more into the old persuade and lie. Okay. I think we're good. Do want to check the rest of this though. So yeah, this was basically a huge product launch. I mean, they had made new posters for it and everything. I mean, compared to other places that we have seen here in Halcyon, this place isn't that bad. I mean, I'm sure we're going to see its...
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby.
Eh? Wait. I mean, it goes up here. Oh, there we go.
This is a bottle of unreleased Rizzo's product. Helen appears to have attempted to use it to spell something as she expired, but all she managed was a sticky bee.
So this is going to be like the Scarlet... oh, what's it called? A Study in Scarlet. Was she trying to spell the name of her killer?
This hypothesis is plausible, but requires additional information.
Hey, Two Hands. Isn't Black Hole Birdie staying here?
I was wondering about that. Before we arrived, I heard something on the aether waves about Black Hole Birdie taken up at the Grand Colonial.
Correct. Bertie Black Hole Holcomb is a registered guest at the Grand Colonial Hotel.
Anybody else I should know about?
Accessing guest database B. The Grand Colonial Hotel is proud to serve the following VIPs. Bertie, Black Hole. Burbage 3001.
Make a no list for later, Arthur.
This evidence has been recorded for later reference. Now generating pre-approved compliment. Splendid work, Inspector.
Thanks. See if there's anything else that we may be missing here.
You think you're tough, waving that thing around?
Yes. Thank you, Two Hands. Alright, guess we don't have any more discrepancies. Now, man, they gave me a scanner. Now I want to scan everything. Ooh. We're just gonna take some of the unreleased booze as our finder's fee. Kath, don't be that guy.
I knew I should have gotten her autograph when I had the chance.
Why is everybody staring? Didn't nobody teach them to respect the dead? Oh gosh, is that Miss Helen? Can we see?
Two Hands, thank you very much for that resub. I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the channel and supporting the kids.
The Grand Colonial Front Desk warmly welcomes you, Inspector. It's a pleasure to see you again. How may I be of assistance to you, Inspector?
Grand Colonial sure is interesting.
It certainly is a marvel of modern ingenuity, luxury, and ambition. Please, allow me to answer any curiosities you might have about our building and the amenities on offer.
And what exactly does a penthouse have to offer?
Twice the size of the next biggest room, and kitted out with any amenity you want, as well as many that you won't. Best to enjoy it while you can, Inspector. Typically, the only people who can afford the penthouse suite have enough bits to suffocate everyone on Terra 2. Also, please inform me if Woolridge gives you a hard time about getting a better room than his. Don't tell him I said this, but everyone on staff wants to strangle him.
Anything special about the upper levels?
Most certainly. All the important folks can be found in the upmost parts of the hotel. You can hardly walk 3 feet without bumping into a tossball grate or a bored exec. Though maybe don't bump into them. Could be harmful to your health.
And no one seems to talk much about the lower floors of the hotel.
Who would be interested in a staff-only area? Most folks never ask about the sewers beneath Rizzo's plant, either.
You can't honestly tell me there's nothing of interest in an entire half of a hotel?
Of interest to your investigation? Well, I suppose there is that one door we're not supposed to open. But I'm sorry, Inspector, I'm not authorized to grant you access to any staff sections of the hotel. You'll have to find a way in on your own.
Well, that's enough about that then.
If you're sure.
You got some high-profile guests here, right? What exactly can you tell me about them?
My apologies, Inspector, but that would be a severe violation of guest privacy. We here at the Grand Colonial firmly believe that... All right, my supervisor just walked out of earshot. Some folks just don't understand the importance of gossip. About whom? And what would you wish to know?
Did you notice anything about Halcyon Helen before she died?
You know, out of everyone here, I probably knew the least about Helen. I'm not much of an Aetherwave watcher myself. And Helen always had a crowd of admirers chasing her, you see, so she rarely stopped to chat. Friendly enough, surely, but always seemed untouchable. Emphasis on seemed.
Did you ever see Helen acting strangely at all?
Now that you mention it, she was usually calm and collected, but every so often I'd see her looking all wild-eyed and intense. It seemed as if she was determined about something. Or maybe she was just hungry. That woman ordered a lot of food. Maybe show business gives you a faster metabolism.
I also heard that Black Hole Birdie was staying here.
Ah, Birdie. Is he bigger than he is dumb, or dumber than he is big? I have a bet with a friend. Not sure we'll ever get it to pay out. Birdie used to be Helen's beau, though he isn't anymore, and not just because she's dead. If I had 1,000,000 bits, I'd spend every one just to learn what caused their split.
And we got some sort of productivity guru here, right? What's her deal?
Her deal? Not making them. I'd laugh at my own comment, but everyone knows there's no bigger joke than the prophet of profitability herself. Didn't you hear Helen's interview? That woman is the definition of humbuggery. Anyone who gives her the time of day is a right fool. I mean, Spencer Woolridge has taken several of her productivity seminars, and look where it got him. Don't waste your time.
Well, speaking of which, Helen's co-star Woolrich, you have any reason to want her dead?
If looks could kill, he'd have put her in the ground 10 times over. Man's clearly jealous of her success compared to his. See, I'd bet we're the only 2 people thinking about him in all of Eridanos. And I only am because you mentioned his name. If you leave woolly cow milk out, it turns to curds. Leave the curds out, they begin to get stale, then rot. Woolridge is on his way to the trash bin, and everyone knows it. Either he's in denial, or he knew Helen would be checking out soon, judging by his increasing demands for a room upgrade.
Well, that's enough gossip for now.
That's a shame, Inspector. What if I wanted to know a little about you?
Well, I am a freelance captain, changing the colony one high-stakes encounter at a time.
A dashing gunslinger type, then. I'm sure the investigation will turn out splendidly in your hands. Or at least Mr. Kincannon seems confident enough to believe so.
Oh, are you talking about the Grand Negus? 2 hands? I want to go ahead and check and see if my room was ready yet.
Ah, yes. We are most pleased to offer you our grandest of grand accommodations, Inspector. The penthouse suite on our topmost floor is now available for you. The last guest left her belongings behind when she vacated unexpectedly, so we needed a little time to tidy the suite up for you. Simply call the elevator in the lobby, and our highly skilled operator will deliver you to your private floor with efficiency and cheer.
Well, thank you, concierge. Wondering how we get in there.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby.
Ooh.
An industrial-grade laxative has been added to the liquor in these bottles.
Okay. Well, this too shall pass. Anything else we need to be aware of? Seems to be it. Thank you, Arthur. I guess we probably need to go check all the places that we've been to. Gotta be thorough here. Transition. Check upstairs.
Black.
Oh, I remember that episode, Two Hands. Yeah, the two Ferengi who got stuck in the Delta Quadrant. They were the same Ferengi that got stuck there in an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. They made the best with what they had. These are replacement modules of the discrepancy amplifier fitted with backups of its logic module. The label reads in case of careless inspector. This must be the distinguished doctor's cubbyhole. I can't close the door. Okay. Welcome, Dr. Winifred Goodnight. This is the automated reminder to make sure you clean the blood off of your instruments. Patient logs. Hartford Bosch. Complaint back pains. Another day, another case that bores me to drink. The ill-fated Byzantine of the hour thought it prudent to gorge himself on enough purpleberry wine to incapacitate a primal. Then he attempted to reach the lobby by stairs rather than elevator and fell down 6 flights. Automechanical servants broke his fall. He broke their servo mechanisms and will be billed accordingly. Fractures in left clavicle, right femur, parietal bone, ribs, more injuries than brain cells. I recommended replacing purpleberry wine with Rizzo's Spectrum Violet in order to appease Rizzo's company policy. Nina Hahn, extreme excitability. Finally, something a little different from the norm. Miss Hahn came by in earlier today escorted by her sister. Apparently not long after arriving on Eridanos, the two of them went on a trip through the purpleberry orchards. Miss Hahn's sister visited the puzzle hedges, but quickly became lost. When she eventually made her way out, Miss Hahn was nowhere to be found. The sister claims that Miss Hahn returned to their hotel room several hours later, but has been unusual ever since. Her sister described the patient as formerly sullen, morose, phlegmatic, and given to melancholia. Her demeanor has transformed into an unpleasant degree of levity and shocking enthusiasm toward everything. I suggested vast quantities of cheap alcohol. Far be it for me to go against the doctor's orders. Reno? A relatively clean working area. You found the hidden mushroom stash. Not so hidden anymore. I do want to check the bathroom before we head over. Before we look at the penthouse. good in here? Alright. No worries.
Finally checked in, I see. I hope you're fond of the penthouse. It's pretty much the best seat in the whole hotel. You shouldn't want for any amenity you might find elsewhere. Should act as a better headquarters for the investigation than any space dust covered ship. That and you ain't got room service on a ship. You ever need anything, come find me. Even if you don't, you can still swing by. I'm always happy to chat.
Well, let me go ahead and ask you this, Norval. Did you know the victim?
Oh, of course. That is, maybe not on a personal level, but I'm one of her biggest fans. Even started an association of like-minded individuals. I'd lament not having anything to meet about anymore, but the newer tribe just ain't done it for us. Still, there goes my hopes of a Terran Monarch reunion episode.
Well, were the new serial episodes that bad?
Of course! Budgets went up, but the writing quality chewed straight through the floorboards and free fell into Halcyon's son. I'm supposed to believe Helen would let the chief of the savages go free just since he was revealed to be her half-cousin? He's a dissident! You kill him! I, like most fans, reckon this series should go back to its roots. Another 200 episodes of the Origins plotline is what we really want. Now, what can I lend a hand with?
Seen this guy on Twitter. Well, now I'm curious about you. How'd you end up to be a bellhop?
Notice my battle-hardened physique, have you? Used to be in a mighty mean line of work. Been shot at 35 times. That is, I've been near people who were shot at 35 times. But to be honest, I never really enjoyed it, you know? It's one thing to tightrope walk between life and death every day, but for just a handful of bits? Nah. When this position came up, I jumped on it and made a lateral move from sublight to slug. I ain't ever looked back.
Well, I thought slug and sublight didn't engage that much. How'd you move from one to the other?
Well, slug is something like an offshoot of sublight. It ain't too difficult to pivot from one part of the same company to another. Disconnects or no. That said, my departure may have been somewhat hasty.
Did something bad and had to make tracks, huh? I know the feeling.
I mean, yes, but I still earned sublight a hell of a lot of bits. Basically, I singled out a ship to salvage that I thought had been out for use for years. As it turns out, it belonged to a wealthy Byzantine who used it only to vacation. As it so happened, I still don't think she tried to use it, too satisfied with the luxuries of Byzantium. Still, I figured it was a good time to turn tail, in case that ever changed.
How different is working with Slug from working within Sublight?
Well, Slug is more trustworthy for one thing, where Sublight is all about back alleys and backstabbing. Slug can be trusted not to salvage your ship when you turn your head.
Well, you got any good stories? Sure, you've seen a lot of people coming and going.
Stories? Huh. Actually, I think I got a couple now that you mention it. When I was first starting out here, I got lost in the lower levels of the Colonial. Guess you not, I ran into a giant purple sprat. Of course, I'd been drinking a little that day.
Mind if I ask you a few questions about the crime scene, Norval?
Please do.
You want to give me more details on how you came across the body?
Sure, I'd taken to checking the barroom every few hours prior to the unveiling. Just to make sure no sprats had snuck into the place. You understand. Found her right before I was set to head back to my room in the lower levels for my mandated 5-hour sleep period. Tell ya, thank the law for caffeinoid. Been too upset to get a wink of sleep since. And hey, now I can finally see smells.
Any idea why Helen would have been in the ballroom after hours?
Beats all hell out of me. Maybe she was, practicing for the unveiling?
Cav, 5 hours? Wow, spoiled. Back to my other questions. I'm not going to ask him if he flat out killed Helen.
Sure. What's on your mind?
You see Helen on the day of her death?
Of course I did. I just told you I found the body. Oh, wait. You mean when she was still breathing? No, of course I didn't. Plus, it's untoward for an employee to speculate about the actions of a hotel guest. Not that I saw any hotel guests interacting with her.
You know, I think we both know that you're just itching to gossip.
Honestly, you're more than a little right. I've been burning at the britches to share my theories. Day of her death, I saw Helen leave the hotel premises with the profit of profitability, and didn't see her come back. A little on the suspicious side, I think. Seemed especially strange, seeing how, as far as I was aware, the two didn't get on.
So what's the deal with this profit of profitability? You guessed, right?
Yep. Gives seminars on increasing profit margins and the like. Can't say much else, seeing how I ain't in the gossip market.
And why didn't Helen and the prophet get along?
Or as I can recall, Helen dismissed the lady's seminars in some kind of interview. Said her co-star used them, but she didn't. The top rungers are always ready to read between the lines of famous folks and seem to think the prophet was on her way out. Woman lost a ton of bits and is set to lose more. I hope all that helped. I'd like to be as useful as I can in the investigation. I just didn't want to steer anyone the wrong way.
Got any idea who may have wanted to do Helen in?
Everyone's got theories. I don't reckon mine hold much more weight than anyone else's.
Fair enough. Okay, I think that was all of the named NPCs that we can talk to.
Hello there, my inordinately esteemed guest. If my hello were any more earnest, this loudspeaker would explode. What authorized floor can I bring you to?
Go ahead and take me up to the penthouse suite.
Next up, the finest seat in the house.
Workplace malaise is moral bankruptcy. Happy workers lead to happy customers, and happy customers are repeat customers. Rizzo's morale improvement program. Joy, joy. Don't be you. Be better. Ugh. Sam? Wow, someone ripped their clothes off as soon as possible. Okay, so the entire crew's here. Holy crap.
I'm leaving my shoes on.
Even the air in here feels too sweet. Almost sticky.
Did you know the smoke from high society cigarettes is 10.07% more likely to leave odor and discoloration in fabrics than other leading brands?
The number of cigarettes here indicate that the smoker's lifespan has been shortened by approximately 11.2 years. Going to raid the liquor cabinet. Okay, definitely going to check the terminal, but I want to see what the rest of our belongings or our dwelling looks like. Looks like we got multiple floors, which is nice.
Everything's so soft and silky and expensive. Oh gosh, I hope I don't get any grease stains on the furniture.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby.
Yeah, they didn't clean anything. Fortunately for us.
The imprint left inside this suitcase matches the silhouette of Halcyon Helen's iconic handgun, the Needler. The weapon was recently removed.
So these things did. Okay, so when there's nothing else to inspect, the aura goes away. Okay, we need to head back downstairs then. Oh, is it? Okay, hold up. Can we...
Hi there, Inspector. It might be a little beyond my job description to ask, but at my heart, I'm still a bellhop. Was the suite to your liking?
I didn't even know they made hotel rooms this large. It was great.
Good. I'm glad. Now, I'd love to bring you to a floor of your choosing.
Lobby, please.
To the lobby we go.
Well, please let Helen still be there. Because there was all that smoke and other stuff like coming up to let us know. That's very good info to remember now. I noticed that Halcyon Helen's garb has changed considerably from the poster that we originally saw of her.
How awful! I left my favorite jacket in there.
There we go. Something is... Something was giving off a vibe, and I don't... Closer to the bar, maybe? Okay, there may have been nothing then. And Arthur didn't give us...
Put that away! You're making me nervous!
Alright, I think we're good.
Well, I suppose I've seen... Not sure what Rizzo's was...
What floor would you like to visit? Next up, the fact...
I guess that primary thing that we were needing to look at was their, the bee that she was riding with. Or that she wrote, rather. It's a very different vibe than Peril on Gorgon. I like it. So we need to keep on.
Helen, where did we go wrong? Oh, Lo, I'm so sorry. That didn't mean for... Helen, I love you. I love you so much.
Bless your heart. Hey, Nicholas? Man, she was a... she was a formidable smoker. Yeah, cracks were starting to form in the ground and everything.
So this is what a clean room smells like.
Don't let it go to your head. This board is covered with a loose collection of photographs and papers. Blank notebook lies open beside a stack of clean papers. It looks like someone intended to write something but never got started. So is this our evidence list, maybe? Got a workbench. That's nice. Hello, gun. Not a gun we can use, though. It is on display. Spatial acuity sensor apparatus. Which does what? 30. Perception, interchangeable, highlight range, bonus to extra headshot and weak spot damage. Early models included a speaker that would emit, look at that, at loud decibels. This feature has been disabled. Dark matter. I guess we need to raid the kitchen anyway. Looks like a cigarette lighter. Mama says knock you out. Max.
Cereals are used by the board to control what the colonists think about reality. Quite a powerful thing.
I love the fact that we've given him glasses. He looks so good. Okay, well that's everything here. Let's check the computer. Welcome, R. Bellamy. From Administrator Ludovico. Miss H. Helen, thank you for choosing the Eridanos Atmospheric Complex as the site of your next publicity and marketing campaign. By endorsing the Spectrum vodka product, you are aligning yourself with a revolution in the leisure beverage market. Indeed, in the culture of Halcyon itself, we're going to change the world together. Sincerely, Quentin Ludovico. So there's something that we need a hack of 100 by ourselves. Do I have anything that would increase hack? I'll have to check of this. Helen, I don't understand why you and I must be enemies. Are we not both branches of the same tree of privilege? You command audiences with your masterly performances on the Aether Wave, and I command the attention of our corporate leaders. We're both cultural icons with a responsibility to set a good example. I'm disappointed to discover you've berated my seminars publicly and on official records. I take particular umbrage in your characterization of my most recent seminar, Spearheading Your Project, How to Motivate Your Workforce Using Ancient Weaponry, as a, and I quote, nonsensical vanity project for the die-in-the-wool buffoon. No, it doesn't count when we're in the hub. We don't have it available. These are fighting words. Expect to hear from my personal auditor soon. Sincerely, Profitability P.O. Money can't buy happiness, and other lies we tell ourselves. A new seminar by the Prophet of Profitability coming soon. From Cedric Kincannon. Free advice. Miss Bellamy, you're a talented actor. I've enjoyed all of your roles across the years, and I'm especially fond of your performance in Terror on Monarch. Ludovico doesn't appreciate the serials. Maybe that's why he never knows when he's being played. He still thinks you're here to endorse Spectrum Brown. Your performance has him fooled. I have a feeling I know what you're up to. Always a little disappointing when the audience is a few steps ahead of the plot. Best, Cedric. Guest advisories. In light of recent unfortunate events regarding the passaging of a beloved cultural icon, we at the Grand Colonial have doubled the number of armed guards for only a small security surcharge. Surcharge is non-refundable. The Grand Colonial is not responsible for death or dismemberment that occurs off hotel grounds. So, let's look at our stats here. Skills. It's 80. We got bonus support hack. So... Let's see if we have anything to increase hacking. Well, you know, it actually, you might be right, Kath. It may just be because we need Max on the team. Yeah, it is. That's kind of strange.
What floor would you... To the lobby?
Okay. We need our hacker boy. Max with the hacks. Indeed. Come on. We've been here before. Unless you're trying to load a... There we go. And we go right back.
What floor would you like? Next stop, the finest seat in the...
So I guess what she was wearing was what her normal thing is, because that's literally the exact same picture as Terror on Monarch. They also kind of look like the aliens from Mars Attacks. Ack. Okay. That's very strange. Silver tongue kit. Yeah, it does not count. That I could consume stuff for a buff. I don't know if it would increase hacking. I guess we can try. Wait, do we have any armor that could do that? Did we check the dialogue skills? No. Natural health regeneration. Personality attributes +1. Oh wow, that brown vodka. Strength +2, charm +2, base health +10%. Everything else goes. Movement speed. Well, you figure that they'd at least be like, hey, come on and check this out, kind of thing. Oh well. We know what to throw our points into, if need be.
Inspector, I understand you've visited the scene of the crime. Halcyon Helen was an important cultural icon. She will be sorely missed.
You mean Ruth Bellamy? Halcyon Helen was just a character.
Halcyon Helen was more than a character. She was a brand. Her death will now be associated with Rizzo's Spectrum Brown. You understand why that worries me.
I get it. You don't want to be responsible for a drink that kills people.
I do not. Spacer's Choice has that market cornered. Back to the matter at hand. Tell me about your investigation.
Look, I've got a lead, and I can't tell you exactly why, but I need access to the orchards.
Your discretion is appreciated. I admit, I'm beginning to feel more confident in this arrangement. Here, I'm granting you access through the gates to the orchards. You're officially authorized to see this investigation through to the end. There is one caveat. Cedric's being rather intransigent about letting you into the spaceport. Possibly he's trying to hide something. Possibly he wants to annoy me. Possibly both.
So he locks his doors the moment an investigator arrives? That's not suspicious at all.
I agree with the sentiment behind your snide remark. Unfortunately, the Piraeus spaceport is Cedric's purview, not mine. You have a lead to chase. Law speed, Inspector.
Okie dokie. Guess we're gonna... No, we actually...
What floor would you like to visit?
We have other people to talk to. I'd like to visit the VIP guest floor, please.
Oh, so sorry, but you're not actually authorized to visit that floor. What authorized floor can I bring you to?
Alright, I guess we'll just exit. I figured an investigator would have access to all the floors, but maybe I've been watching too much, Murder, She Wrote, Magnum PI, CSI, pretty much anything. Where it's literally like, hey, we have purview. And speaking of shots fired, let's hope that we actually get some shots fired during this episode, since we haven't had any combat, except for me accidentally shooting the corpse. Competent. Yeah, right? I worked hard on that Angela Lansbury impersonation. The pride of Cabot Cove, Maine. Oh, hello there. What's up here? Hotel guest. No feasible points of entry, unfortunately. Oh, never mind. I stand corrected. Gonna lead us right back down, though, isn't it? My grandmother was all about that show. Like, Murder, She Wrote was just about it. I remember I had this book about Universal Studios Hollywood back when it didn't really have any rides. And it was all about, like, the studio tram tour where you get, like, through different sets and stuff, and, like, King Kong would try to attack you, and the Cylons from the original Battlestar Galactica would try and take over the tram. Just little stuff like that. But I remember there was actually a replica of Cabot Cove, Maine, that was part of the Jaws attraction. So...
Ugh. This smells worse than rancid salt tuna. Oh, well, I think it's coming from the pool.
Oh, you're that inspector. Right. Sorry, but the pool's currently closed on account of it stinking worse than my boss. What can I do for you?
Alf McAllister. So why does the pool look all green?
Space me if I knew. I got here for my shift this morning and found it this way. They can't yell at me for this one, which is good, because a lot of folks seem upset by it.
I'll tell you what, nothing will upset a lot of people better than going to a hotel like a resort and like, oh, the pool's closed down. Just rage. This morning, So what happened just before the Spectrum Brown launch?
Gee, you're pretty sharp. Yeah, the reception party would have extended out here, but we had to close it off. What with the contamination. And now the reception ain't happening anyway. Can't do much now but wait for the stench to wear off. We found the individual hired to clean face down in a puddle of his own spit in the orchards. Guess he won't be helping.
Face down in his own spit, you say?
Look, I call it how I see it. They found the poor slackwit alongside syringes enough to put down a herd of mantisaurs. His family will have to be fined. Rizzo should have been more careful about who they hired. They're lucky nothing got permanently damaged.
Something about this sounds off kilter. I'll have to take a look around.
Alright. You may want to visit the Sun Parlor. That's where that Rizzo's fool mixed the chemicals he used. Oh, and you could talk to Lily, my boss. She probably has some great advice. I saw her walk toward the bridge to the Purpleberry Orchards earlier. Reckon she's still there. Now, anything else I can do for you?
I do have some questions about the pool.
So long as you don't want to go in, I can answer anything you like.
You're pretty heavily armed for a pool guard, aren't you?
Yeah, it's part of the job. I think I'm listed as a security consultant. But all that really means is that if I'm caught without this thing, I get put on pool guard duty. I don't know what happens if I'm caught without it on pool guard duty, but I know that I don't want to find out.
And you said that Rizzo's hired someone to do the cleaning?
Yep, still dead. Usually Rizzo's is pretty good at making sure the people they hire ain't got tripicale for brains, but that fella clearly wasn't worth trusting. I met him briefly once. Seemed level-headed enough, but that must have been just a front. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made such a mess of things.
That's everything for now.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so we can't go into the pool. Pool chemical required. Ugh. The pool where horror dwelt. Sun Parlor. If the clues are as prevalent as the pool's odor. Oh. It's pretty. Is there anything else nearby? Basically, are you going to shoot me if I go down in here?
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby. Analysis reveals the chemical signature of this compound is 80% semblant of fertilizer used in the Purpleberry orchards. The other 20% is semblant of pool water.
Okay.
Hi again. It's like I just saw you. Pool's still closed, unfortunately.
It is some good info to have, though.
Anyone up for a game of sudden death knockout? Yeah, me neither.
Champion tossball stick. So where is active quest? Let's toggle in active quests. It's at the canopy, right?
Thank the law. This is a social one of his
Oh, I'm trying to remember how to do things. Ah, there we go. Holy crap.
That had to hurt.
Dump the body.
Did we win? How exciting.
Did we win? How exciting.
Why would anybody bring raptidons up here? Don't this hotel have a policy on animals?
That escalated quickly. So what was this about, man?
Gosh, that's clever.
Evan, remember cards tonight. If you don't show, I'll set a raptidon loose in here with you. I'm kidding, but don't forget, you hear? I need help knocking B down a rung or three. He's had me writing field reports for her all week. Botanical Operations Building, cards, tonight. Fritz. Hey, GL. What's going on, friend? How are you doing? It's Deadeye Assault Rifle 2. Okay, Sprats. I mean, Sprats end up everywhere, so that doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is the Raptidons. I'm sure there's brutes and all kinds of nonsense on this play here. And there's a ladder. Oh, there was actually a way to... Cool. Even if you did not have the know-how.
Ooh, thanks for the help back there. I've actually never fired a gun before. Is this ringing in your ears normal?
Yeah, you gotta get used to it.
That's more than a little disconcerting, since I maxed out my medical allotment this month. That's what I call my booze fund. Still, I had to be alive to be able to go deaf later. I'm not sure if I actually hit any shots. If you hadn't intervened, it could have been bleak.
Seems like it'd be Slug's job to keep a hold of Raptidons from getting this far.
I'm just as confused as you are. Someone should have been on shift to see them coming. Miss Vargas would probably have a better idea of what happened. She's stationed at the luxury pad.
You go ahead and take care there, Marksman. So this is the canopy, huh? Or the sun parlor, excuse me. Well, I need to get my... There, this is my preferred pistol. More than a couple of things have gone wrong. Yes, absolutely. Coolant tank. Pool cleaner. Blue watercoloring number 422 plus chlorinosol. Well, it seems that Rizzles has set me up with a rather straightforward task. Slug has an automatic mixer for their pool cleaner. It's an automatic one. You would think it wouldn't need to be manually cycled, but I suppose I should be thankful it works at all. Mix the chemicals by cycling each vat, then use the console to create a compound once you have the desired combination. Not exactly building a terraformer here, but no matter how simple these things are, some people will still have problems. Good that I've been at this for as long as I have. So red, green, yellow, blue, orange. Seems odd to store all these chemicals together. Putting some of these together would render that pool less habitable than some of the sulfur pits on Monarch. Perhaps that's why they decided to hire a professional. Beneath the entry, there's a note in different handwriting. Any opportunistic freelancer that reads this should meet me at the hotel on the hotel balcony. I have a business opportunity. I investigated the pool. Listen to y'all, it's sabotage. Okay. Says I hadn't investigated the pool all the way. I guess I need to head back there and... I guess I may have missed something at the pool. Either that or I needed to finish mixing that stuff and bring it over and put it in that chemical compound. Oh, wait a minute. It said to investigate the balcony. Overlooking said pool. Donovan Mathis.
I saw you meander on out of the pool and into the greenhouse. Now you're here. Does that mean what I think it means?
Well, I read your note. Suffice it to say, I'm interested.
Good. If you're interested in burying the pool, I'm interested in paying you.
So, why exactly go after a hotel pool? That's not exactly the most high-profile target.
Maybe not. Maybe I just want Rizzo's working relationship with Slug to implode for the benefit of Spacer's Choice. But you're right, it ain't high profile. And it ain't gotta be. Any damage to Rizzo's is cause for celebration. You ain't gotta concern yourself with my spite. Consider me an average Byzantine, and I'll consider you an average contractor.
Yeah, I don't think I want to get... Well, the thing about it is Rizzo's is kind of what we're dealing with right now. And if they find out we get involved in any kind of corporate espionage, it ain't going to look good on us. So I'm actually going to say no to this. Yeah, I don't think I want to get wrapped up in corporate politics.
Shame. Well, I hope you'll soon see Rizzo's for what they are and help me bring them low.
Alright, well, I gotta show Rizzo's for what they are. I'm like, Spacer's Choice ain't that much better, dude. Actually, I would say Spacer's Choice is a bit worse, apparently, from what we have seen. Especially after Peril on Gorgon. Pool filter. A mechanical contraption for propagating chemicals inserted above through the pool water. Someone has scratched a sentence into the filter's plating. Irion was here. Alright, there we go. Now we gotta go create a pool cleaner chemical. Not what I expected to be doing on the first stream of this series, but let's see if we can do it real quick. Yeah, Irion. We ran into him, did we run into him on Peril on Gorgon, or was it somewhere else? I think it was that asteroid that, yeah, it was the asteroid. Love the little Easter eggs. Alright, so we've got this Ep.1 status. Brominating oxalator. Uh-huh. Pool cleaner, blue water coloring. Fluorosol hydrodephoma. Oh, okay. That's what we need. Blue water coloring is number 4. 415. Oh, can I not? Okay, hold on. Can one of these go to 5? Okay. So some of these have maxes. 1, 5, 4. Let me guess. This one just goes up to... Yeah. All right. 1, 5, 4. Greenhouse terminal. Existing chemical and canister will be removed and chemicals and vats will be mixed into a new compound. We have created pool cleaner. Now we shall hustle. This is what we do. We're the pool maintenance man. The Cabana boy. Cabana boy!
Oh, thanks a million, Inspector. The smell cleared right up. Well, in a couple hours, the guests might even be back. Then I actually gotta start doing my job. Of course, we're not gonna get a follow-up shipment for the water anytime soon, so they'll have to content themselves on the deck. I got a little something for making my job that much less miserable. It's the key to our storeroom. If my boss asks, you never met me.
A key? Well, I think we both know my work was worth a little more than that there, God.
I guess I can spare a few bits. And, here, this pack of smokes. Sorry, they don't really load me up with the goods. I gotta get back to it if you don't mind, Inspector.
All is well. Got a pack of smokes and they have to just be right there in that tiny little bit. Alright guys, well, we are up and going with the murder on Eridanos, and there's already some intrigue going on. We'll be heading to the Purpleberry Orchard at the beginning of the next episode, and hopefully we'll get some more clues and figure out what's going to go on. I don't think we're going to figure out who the murderer is until the very end, or we figure out the murder and that leads to like a grander conspiracy. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you haven't followed the Twitch channel, please do so. I try and stream on Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and random times in between. And if you're watching the replay of this on YouTube, I have a link to the Twitch channel in the description below, as well as a link to my Extra Life page where I'm raising money for my local Children's Miracle Network hospital via the incredible Extra Life charity. So check out those links if you feel so inclined. Like, share, subscribe. You guys know the drill there. And we will see you next time. Later days, everyone.